The town where nobody knew my name. I never planned to vanish. At least, not at first. But sometimes life doesn't fall apart all at once, sometimes it unravels thread by thread, until one day you wake up and realize you've been holding the scissors the whole time. Back then, I had what most people would have called an ordinary life. A job that paid enough, a one-bedroom apartment I rarely cleaned, and a circle of friends who mostly communicated through memes and occasional Friday nights at a bar. My parents lived a few hours away, my boss wasn't unbearable, and my neighbors were the kind of people you wave at but never really talk to. It should have been fine. But fine has a way of feeling suffocating. The spark that broke routine. It started small, one mistake at work. I handled data entry for a logistics company, and one afternoon, after pulling a late night out drinking, I mistyped a client's order. A simple error, but it caused a ripple, delayed shipments, angry phone calls, an emergency meeting. My manager didn't fire me, but he made sure everyone knew I was the one who screwed up. For weeks, I felt their stares. Their whispers. It wasn't just a mistake anymore, it was my reputation. And that's when I started unraveling. Drinking more. Showing up late. Avoiding calls from my mom. Ignoring messages from friends. Every little thread of my life started to loosen. Until the night everything snapped. The accident. It was a rainy Friday. I'd stayed late at the bar again, nursing cheap whiskey until my vision blurred. I don't even remember getting into my car, only the sound of rain smearing against the windshield, the dull throb of music from the radio, and then a flash. Headlights. The screech of tires. And silence. I'd run a red light. The other driver swerved in time, thank God, but not before slamming into a street pole. Their car crumpled. Mine skidded to the curb. I sat frozen behind the wheel, heart hammering, rain leaking in through the crack of my shattered window. People rushed over. Someone yelled. Sirens wailed in the distance. And I did the unthinkable. I opened my door. I stumbled into the night. And I walked away. The disappearance. I don't know what came over me, fear, stupidity, survival instinct. Maybe all of it. But I walked until the sirens were behind me, until my shoes were soaked through, until the city felt like a trap closing in. The next morning, I emptied my bank account. Took a bus out of town. Then another. Then another. For weeks, I drifted. Cheap motels. Diners where no one asked questions. I shaved my beard, changed my haircut, bought second-hand clothes from thrift shops. Every mirror I passed showed a stranger staring back. Finally, I ended up in a little town off the highway. Population, maybe 2,000. A main street with one grocery store, one diner, and one bar. It felt like a place where people didn't pry, where a stranger could blend in. So I stayed. Building a new life. I told people my name was David. Not a lie, exactly my middle name. I said I'd moved from out west, chasing a quieter life. Nobody pressed further. I picked up work at the hardware store. Cash job, off the books. The owner, a gray-haired guy named Frank, was the kind of person who believed in what he could see. You showed up on time, worked hard, didn't complain, that was good enough for him. I rented a room above the diner from a widow named Mrs. Keller. She was nosy, but kind. Left me casseroles on the steps, asked about my day even when I had nothing to say. Slowly, a new rhythm took shape. Morning shifts at the store. Lunch at the diner. Evenings nursing a beer at the bar where everyone already knew each other's stories and didn't care about mine. For the first time in months, I could breathe. But secrets don't stay buried. Of course, the past has claws. It doesn't let go just because you want it to. At first, it came as nightmares. I'd jolt awake sweating, hearing phantom sirens, seeing the flash of headlights. In those moments, I'd convince myself the police were already outside, ready to drag me back. Then came the guilt. I looked up the news one night on a library computer, heart pounding as I searched. The driver I'd hit had survived, thankfully, but their injuries were serious. Multiple surgeries. Months of recovery. I should have felt relieved. Instead, I felt sick. Because they were suffering while I was here, pretending to be someone new. The friend I didn't expect. Her name was Clara. She worked mornings at the diner and always had a pen stuck behind her ear. She noticed me before anyone else did. "You're not from around here," she said one day, pouring coffee into my cup. I froze, waiting for suspicion. But she just smiled. "Relax. Nobody is, at first." We started talking. First about small things, weather, the pie of the day, gossip about the mayor's son. Then bigger things. She told me about growing up here, about her dreams of moving to the city, about her mother's illness that kept her stuck. And I listened. Really listened. For the first time in a long time, I felt seen. The temptation of confession. There were nights I almost told her everything. We'd sit on the diner's back steps after her shift, smoking, the stars hanging heavy above us. I'd look at her and think, if anyone could understand, it'd be her. But the words never came. Because what would I even say? "Hey, I'm not who you think I am. I'm running from a life I wrecked. I might be a criminal, depending on how you look at it." So I stayed silent. But the silence grew heavier by the day. The stranger in the bar. It happened a year after I'd arrived. A man I didn't recognize walked into the bar. Tall, broad-shouldered, with the kind of posture that screamed authority. He sat a few stools down. Ordered a beer. Didn't say much. But he kept glancing at me. My chest tightened. My palms sweated. Every instinct screamed, "They've found me." That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay awake imagining handcuffs, headlines, prison walls. By morning, I'd packed a bag, ready to run again. But then Clara knocked on my door. "You okay?" she asked, tilting her head. "You look like you've seen a ghost." And I realized maybe I had. But maybe I was tired of running from them. The choice. I never told her everything. Not yet. But that morning, for the first time, I told someone something real. I wasn't a good person, before I came here, I admitted. My voice cracked. I made mistakes. Bad ones. She didn't flinch. Didn't press. She just nodded slowly, like she'd already known. "Everyone's running from something," she said. "Doesn't mean you can't stop." And in that moment, I felt something shift. For the first time, I thought maybe I didn't have to keep carrying this stone forever. Maybe I could set it down, piece by piece. Where I am now. It's been 3 years. I still live above the diner. Still work at the hardware store. Still wake up some nights to phantom sirens. But I'm trying. I'm helping Frank expand the store. I'm helping Clara care for her mom. I'm showing up for people, in ways I never used to. Do I deserve this second chance? I don't know. Probably not. But I'm learning that maybe life isn't about deserving. Maybe it's about what you do once you realize you can't keep running forever. And maybe someday, when I'm brave enough, I'll tell Clara the whole truth. Until then, I'll keep waking up in this little town where nobody knew my name and trying to become someone worth knowing.